Okay, so this is the last lesson of Unit 3. It is lesson 3-6, I believe. And we're going to be talking about proportions, still using our whole part models. And I have a definition for proportions here for you. And we have a couple of ways of looking at this word here. We're talking about the word proportion. And a few varying ways to think about it here. We can say comparative relation between things or magnitudes as to size, quantity, number, etc., or ratio. A proper relation between things or parts. Relative size or extent, the dimensions. You can say it's a rock of gigantic proportions. And this one down here, a portion or part in its relation to the whole. And that's kind of what we'll be focusing on. Okay, so here's the title, Lesson 3-6, Proportional Reasoning and Visual Models. So we'll go over the big idea. Proportional reasoning is important in many areas of life, from using recipes to cook to estimating travel times and figuring out what you should earn for a test grade. In this lesson, we will once again use visual models to help us solve proportion problems, with a period, not a question mark there. The models. In building visual models for proportions, we'll be comparing two sets of numbers. Usually it makes sense to use boxes to represent one of the quantities in the comparison. For example, if you travel 120 miles on 4 gallons of gas, it makes sense to represent the 4 gallons of gas with boxes instead of 120 miles. And a little question there, why do you think this is true? Well, personally, I wouldn't want to draw 120 boxes. I'd rather draw the 4 boxes. So you see you have a model here for 120 miles, and we have a 1 gallon of gas. So if you had 120 and you have 4 boxes, you're doing 120 broken up into 4 equal parts. So that would get us, 30 per box, right? So if you have a question that asks you to apply this here, something like, how many miles would you be able to travel on 3 gallons of gas? Okay, so you can mark off the 3 boxes like we have here, and since you know that each one is 30, right? You could say that the answer for traveling on 3 gallons of gas in this problem will get you 90 miles. Okay, we have example 1 here. Jazzy found a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. It calls for 30 chocolate chips for 4 cookies. How many chocolate chips will Jazzy need to make 12 cookies? And we have a number of questions for you to think about here. So here's the model that would work, and you can see that we have 30 chocolate chips here making up 4 boxes of 4 boxes. So in order to find that out, like with part wholes, we have 30 chocolate chips going into 4 boxes, so we get a number for that. And in this case, that number will be 7.5. That's really light. 7.5 for each box. Right? So then you can do that for all of the boxes, and how many do you have? Well, we have, how many boxes? 4, 8, 12. So that becomes 12. 12 boxes times 7.5 would equal your question mark. Okay, example 2. Nick earned $34 for 4 hours of work. At this rate, how much would Nick earn for 20 hours of work? So build the model oops, explain two different ways to solve. So we have a model here where we don't know how much he makes, and we could make 20 boxes, right? So let's see, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we know that for 4 hours, which would be 4 boxes, he makes $34. Right? So that means well, we can think of it in a few different ways. How many sets of 4 are there in 20? So we have 20 boxes. Or we can figure out what goes in each box for a number. And since we have 34 and we have 4 boxes, that means that we have, well, I know that 8 times 4 is 32, and we need 2 more dollars than that, so what would we have there? $8.50 it looks like per box. Let's see if we can squeeze that in there. So I'll put in 8.5. Even though we're talking about money, it'll be $8.50. Okay. So you can take it from there, I believe. And some guided practice. Find the value of the question mark. So we have 18 makes up 2 boxes. So all you have to do is pull out your prior knowledge of the part-whole model, and you can fill this all out. So we have 5 boxes. Each box is 9. The parentheses represent multiplication. 5 times 9 equals 45. So the question mark equals 45. And again, find the value of the question mark. You have 3 boxes. We don't know what they are, but we see here we have 48 for all the boxes. That's 48 divided by 4. Gets us 12 for each box. Double check my math. And so how much is 3 of them worth? Okay, so 12 times 3 boxes equals the question mark. Number 3, use the model to answer the question. Why don't you do that one? And for this last one here, build your own model.